I'm Edward Warfield. I'm the publisher of Citybiz, and I'm honored today to interview Thomas Lapham, who's the CEO of CHEQ. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
From 2013 to 2018, you were CEO of Asia Clean Capital, and then in March of 2021, you became CEO of CHEQ. Can you provide the highlights of your career, some of your exits, and the decision to co-found CHEQ?
Sure, and thank you for the question. My background prior to founding CHEQ is I'm someone who's always loved building businesses, finding a problem, thinking about a way to solve it, building up a team, and bringing something to fruition that didn't exist before. The last couple of businesses that I had before CHEQ, the first was in 2008. I founded a renewable energy business here in the Seattle area. Built that up to a nationwide footprint: Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago, New York. And then in 2013, sold that to Shell. So it's part of Shell New Energy now. I stayed on for a while, sort of running that business unit for Shell, but quickly realized that I preferred the life of an entrepreneur than one of a mid-level manager for a big conglomerate. And so later that year founded Asia Clean Capital. It was a similar industry, but different geography, based in Beijing, with projects all over mainland China. Built that up to, I think, the largest foreign-owned renewable energy developer in China. And then in 2020, shortly before the pandemic, sold that to EDF, which is a utility that's based in Europe. I came back home to Seattle, which is where I'm from, and I realized that in the interim, I'd had two kids, two small girls, and coming back here, I realized that the on-premise experience, especially for people who had kids, really left a lot to be desired. And whether I was at a restaurant and with my girls, waiting to get a table and then waiting to get a server to come over, and the server coming over and wanting to start with the round of drinks, where I'm thinking, like, no, my kids are going to melt down. I need to get all of my food here right away. Or whether I was taking my girls to a game and, hey, Daddy, can we get popcorn at halftime? And sure, girls, no problem. And going up, at halftime and looking at the line and thinking to myself, do I break my girls' hearts and tell them there's no popcorn, or do I miss the entire third quarter? All of this is something that could be improved with technology. And that was really sort of the genesis for founding CHEQ, was trying to solve that problem. How can we make the on-premise experience better? How can we connect people? How can we use the technology that we all have in our pockets to make people's experiences when they're on-premise at a venue better?
And can you provide a snapshot of CHEQ today, its mission, and explain what you mean by social purchasing?
For sure. Our mission is to make the good times better through technology. And, whether that's at a stadium, whether that's at a restaurant, or whether that's, your friends are going out maybe, on a Friday night to get a round of drinks, but you can't join them, but you'd still like to be a part of it, and sending them something remotely. All of those fit into the mission of making the good times better through technology, but in a way where the technology melts into the background and you're having these, human interactions. Oftentimes I'll, be at a restaurant and I'll see, a couple sitting at a table, not talking to each other, both looking down at their phones. And we'd like to think that technology could be used differently, where it's something that you put away and you allow it to enhance your experience and spend more time, enjoying, being in person with your loved ones. The social aspect is really that peer-to-peer connection of, maybe we're friends, it's your birthday, you're out, I can't be with you for whatever reason, but I can still let you know that I'm thinking about you. And if I happen to know what your favorite drink is or your favorite dessert is, I can use CHEQ and I can send it straight to your table, and you'll get that personalized gift from me that you can enjoy on premise.
So tell us how you and the other co-founders came together, Jake Stone and Jim Castillo.
Sure. Jim is someone who I've known for 10 plus years. We were friends when when I had my previous business. And at the time, he was the chief software architect for OpenTable. And I had my first renewable energy company. Um, we never would have become friends if not for my wife. She's much more outgoing and personable than I am. She and Jim's wife had babies at the time who were the same age. They became friends, and she introduced me to Jim. And it doesn't always work out that you like the husbands of your wife's friends, but this time it did. So Jim and I became friends. We've known each other for a long time. And when I started CHEQ, he had already taken OpenTable from a small startup to a pretty good sized company and a good exit with bookings. And when I told him about the vision, he got pretty excited and said, "Hey, I'd always wanted to build something like this when I was at OpenTable. Of course, we were only focused on reservations, but I understand the ecosystem. I know how to build this. I'd love to join the team." Jake is a super dynamic. He's basically a rock star in the sports and entertainment world. He's Forbes 30 under 30, had run sports and entertainment for Disney, for ESPN. And when I talked to Jake about the vision, but more from the kind of go-to-market perspective rather than the building the technology perspective, he looked at me, I think, on our first call and said, "Tom, I think I could sell this to a team before we get off this phone call." I said, "Jake, that's wonderful. I love the enthusiasm. We got to build a product first." But that was sort of the beginnings of the team. In its very nascent stage before we'd even built a product.
So you are revolutionizing the stadium industry, and I guess your vantage point is the stadium industry more than the consumer. Just tell us how you are, the, how the impact you're having on the stadium industry.
Sure. I think what we're known for is certainly mobile ordering within stadiums. You can, as a fan, use your phone, and depending on where you're sitting inside the stadium, you can order some food. And when it's ready, you'll get a notification and you can go pick it up and skip the line. If you're sitting in a more premium area, you can order some food and it will be delivered directly to your seat. Either way, you're enjoying more of the game. And again, technology is just there to enhance the experience for you, to make the good times better. But from a stadium operator's perspective, we offer a lot more than that. We're really an omni-channel solution. So mobile ordering is just one of the ways that we allow stadiums to process guests and process fans when they come to the event. We also have self-service kiosks. We also have handheld devices for hawkers. We also have traditional belly up POS systems, and they all work together and they all communicate with one another. And I think the big difference from an operator's perspective between CHEQ and maybe some others is that we don't dictate to the venues how they're to use our technology. We say, we provide this technology platform, but we allow the operators to pick and choose which aspects of it will work for them and will work for their fans. We provide that technology to the operators in a way that they like, with a focus on enhancing the fan experience.
And so, who are some of your clients?
Well, here in the Pacific Northwest, which is where I'm based, we've got the Seattle Mariners. We do all of the mobile processing in the club level. Across the country, we've got a dozen plus partners. We have the Minnesota Twins. We have the Tennessee Titans. We have the Washington Commanders. We have Philadelphia Union. We're big in South Florida. We've got the Miami Marlins. We've got the Miami Dolphins. We've got, in the news recently, Inter Miami with Lionel Messi arriving there shortly, which is one we're super excited about. But we've got stadiums all over the country.
Now let's talk a little bit about your funding. According to Crunchbase, CHEQ has closed 2 rounds of funding for $13.5 billion. Can you walk us through your funding?
Sure. The first round was primarily myself, co-founders, and essentially a friends and family round. that we did in 2021 when we founded the company. We used that to build out the technology stack and get proof of concept and sign our first major clients. Then last summer we did our first institutional round. We brought in a few family offices. We brought in West River Group, who are also based in Seattle and have a good focus on sports tech. They were early in Top Golf. And so we thought they would be a great fit for us. We also brought in Yard Ventures, which is the Harvard Alumni Fund, as an outside institutional investor, and then a few other high net worth individuals.
So CHEQ's established partnerships, including Liberty Sports Group. Can you highlight some of the partnerships that you've established?
Sure. Liberty's a great one. We partnered with them for the Rocks minor league baseball team outside of Boston. They've also got other locations in the greater Boston area and around the country, and we're looking to roll out and continue to expand with them. We also have a partnership with Oakview Group. And Oakview Group, and in my opinion, is one of the best operators in sports and large venues today. They operate Climate Pledge, which is the home of the Kraken in my hometown of Seattle, but they operate venues all over the country, and we're working on some big expansion plans with them. And then we also have, in addition to team by team partnerships, we also have unique partnerships with different non-team entities. One that I think is interesting is One World Properties, which is, I believe, the largest luxury broker of high-end residential properties in South Florida. We have a platform built for their brokers to use CHEQ to send food and drinks to their clients. So if they have a client who's looking at maybe a high-end condo in the Brickell area of Miami, and there's a new restaurant that opened up near the condo, and the broker wants to let the client know, they could use CHEQ and send them a gift on our platform, and kind of engage in a different and unique way with their clients to let them know about the cool venues that are opening up near the properties that they're interested in.
And so, what are the growth plans for CHEQ? Are there any acquisitions on the horizon?
Well, we're very focused right now on growth within our core market, which is professional sports. That includes MLS, MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL. And so let's say the five major sports, and we continue to sign up on a monthly basis teams. We're also focused on what we call the immediate adjacents. And so that would include things like college teams, like minor league teams. We've signed a minor league baseball team, like amusement parks, like concert venues. We've signed our first concert venue also with Oakview Group in Baltimore. And then the one that I'm especially excited about is festivals and events. And we're actually doing what I think is, the top one or two food festivals in the country. Bite of Seattle, that's coming up next month on the 21st, and we're anticipating about 500,000 people coming through downtown Seattle, next to the Space Needle, next to the Chihuly Glass Museum, coming in. And we've got a couple hundred vendors that are some of the most unique restaurants in the city, all setting up stands so people can try small bites. And we're, of course, using our technology to enhance the festival, letting people search through on the map, see different places they'd like to try, letting them order through the app so that they can skip the line. And then also post-festival, connecting them with all of the restaurants that they tried during the Bite of Seattle so that they can get great promotions, and so that the restaurants can get more guests coming in and create a virtuous ecosystem within the city.
So, is there any part of the CHEQ or Thomas Lapham story that we haven't heard, that you haven't shared with us, that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I think we hit the highlights, and I do appreciate you taking the time to learn about us. You ask great questions, but overall we're growing quickly. We're very excited about the space we're in. We think we've got a unique take on technology where, rather than dividing people and keeping them looking at their phones. We use the technology to melt into the background and connect people, especially for in-person experiences, which I think are more important than ever. And I'm just very happy to share our growth story.
Well, Tom, I want to thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing more about your partnerships and your Series B.
Thank you so much, Edwin.